Hi everyone, we are now going to look at the answer for P3-12A. I hope you did attempt this on your own, and now you're taking a review and clarifying your information, if you got the information correct or if you didn't, right? So we have Precision Manufacturing Inc. PMI makes two types of industrial component parts, the EX300 and the TX500. It annually produces 60,000 units of the EX300, 12,500 units of the TX500. The company's conventional cost system allocates manufacturing overhead to products using a plant-wide overhead rate and direct labor dollars as the allocation base. Here's some additional information related to the company's two product lines. So they provide us with the direct materials and direct labor. The company is considering implementing an activity-based costing system that distributes all its manufacturing overhead to 4 activities as shown below. So you can see there is the total dollar value in the bucket for the activity costs for machining, setups, product level costs, overhead costs, and general factory overhead costs, and the method of allocation. The EX300 and the TX500 activity is also listed there. Okay, so in the first requirement, they want us to compute the plant-wide overhead rate that would be used in the company's conventional cost system, compute the unit product cost for each product using that plant-wide rate. Now remember, they allocate overhead based on direct labor dollars. So we want to determine that overhead rate. What we would do is take the total manufacturing overhead of 508,625 and divide that by the total cost of the direct labor hours, which from the information provided is 162,500. And we get an overhead rate per labor dollar of $3.13. So, traditional way, EX300 direct materials and direct labor costs are listed. Now we must apply the manufacturing overhead based on labor dollars. So $120,000 of labor dollars times $3.13 gives us manufacturing overhead applied of $375,600. So the total manufacturing cost would be the direct materials plus the direct labor plus the manufacturing overhead applied, $861,925. That's the total cost to manufacture 60,000 units. Divide the 60,000 into 861,925 to get a unit product cost of $14.37 each. We're going to go through the same process using the TX500. Direct materials and direct labor are listed, and then we'll apply manufacturing overhead based on the dollar amount of direct labor, which is $42,500, times $3.13. We'll get the $133,025. Add those three costs up to get total manufacturing overhead of $338,075. That's to produce 12,500 units. So the unit product cost under the traditional method of assigning costs, manufacturing overhead, I should say, $27.05 per unit. Our next step says this. Compute the activity rate for each activity cost pool. Using the activity rates, compute the unit product cost for each product. So let's first take and determine based on the information in the table. So they tell us the manufacturing overhead costs for each activity, and then they tell us the total activity for each activity. So the machining, 198,250, total machine hours, 152,500. So the activity rate would be $1.30 per machine hour. Setups, $150,000 cost divided by 375 total setup hours, $400 per setup hour. Product level costs, 100,250, divide that by the number of products. 2. There's only 2 products, so 50,125 would be the amount per product, not per number of products, per overall product. And then the general factory overhead, 60,125. We're going to allocate that based on total direct labor dollars, 162,500. So 37 cents per direct labor dollar. Okay. Now, how much overhead and total product costs would there be for each of these products? Well, I'm sorry about the way that looks, kind of freaky, but let's start with EX300. Direct materials, 366,325. That's given. Direct labor, $120,000. That's given. Now, let's compute the machining. Machining for EX300 is 90,000 machine hours. I don't have the other part of this in front of me, so give me 1 second. We determined the amount per machining hour is $1.30. So take $1.30 times 90,000, 117,000. Okay, the setups. We determined that the cost per setup is $400. There's 75 setups for the EX300, so $400 times 75, $30,000 is the total manufacturing overhead for the EX300 for that activity. Product sustaining, well, there's 1 product, and we already determined the activity rate to be $50,125 per product. And then the general factory overhead we determined to be 37 cents per direct labor hour. I'm sorry, per direct labor dollar. There's $120,000 of direct labor dollars in the EX300. 44,400 is the amount of manufacturing overhead related to that activity. So then we add up all the costs and we get 727,850 of total product costs, manufacturing costs for this product to produce 60,000. That is the equivalent of $12.13 product cost for each unit. Let's go and do the same thing for the TX500. Direct materials and direct labor costs are already given. The machining. We're going to take the number of hours the machine is used, 62,500, times that predetermined that rate we just figured out, $1.30 per machine hour, gives us $81,250 allocated to the machining activity for the TX500. The setups. We determined that to be $400 per setup. There's 300 setups, $120,000 of manufacturing overhead for the setup activity is allocated for TX500. The product sustaining is the $50,125 because there's only 1 product there. And then the general factory overhead is based on your labor hours labor dollars, direct labor dollars of 42,500 times 37 cents per labor dollar, $15,725. So you need to take the amount of activity for each product times the activity rate for that activity. Now, the TX500 total cost to make 12,500 or $472,150. If you divide that 12,500 into the 472,150, it gives you that per unit product cost of $37.77. That's different than under our traditional method. Why do the conventional activity-based cost assignments differ from one another? Well, the traditional system uses one unit level activity, direct labor dollars. That's it. So it assigns all the overhead based on that. To the EX300 product line and all the overhead costs to the TX500 product line. The ABC system assigns based 59% of the manufacturing overhead based on machine costs, product line, and the different activities. Okay, so you could read through that, but it's just because of drilling down, separating the cost by activities, there's a better allocation, a more accurate allocation of actual costs, manufacturing overhead costs to produce each product. Okay, so that is our review problem. If you have any questions, please post it to the discussion board.